She was called the most beautiful woman in the world. Hollywood couldn't get enough of her. Photographers followed her, magazines adored her. But while the world focused on her face, she was building something far more important behind the scenes. An invention that would later lead to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, and military technology. She was a woman who changed the world and never got credit for it. This is the untold story of Hedy Lamarr, the movie star who secretly helped invent the future. The mind behind the beauty. Hedy Lamarr was born as Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler in Vienna, Austria in 1914. She was a curious child, constantly taking things apart, asking how everything worked. By her teenage years, she was already studying engineering and physics, though few knew it. But beauty has a strange power in this world. At just 19 years old, she starred in a controversial film called Ecstasy, which shocked Europe. That single role would follow her forever, both as fame and as a curse. She moved to Hollywood in the 1930s and was immediately labeled the most beautiful woman in the world. She starred in movies with Clark Gable, Jimmy Stewart, and Spencer Tracy, becoming one of MGM's top stars. But what the public didn't know was this. Hedy Lamarr wasn't just memorizing lines. She was studying engineering in her trailer, tinkering with gadgets between takes, and reading scientific journals by night. A war, a problem, and an idea. While Europe was descending into World War II, Hedy was watching it from a distance, but not without pain. She had fled Austria in her first marriage to Fritz Mandl, a wealthy arms dealer who tried to control her. At his parties, she listened to German generals and scientists talk about weapons, war plans, and radio-controlled torpedoes. She remembered those conversations. In the early 1940s, Hedy learned that Allied torpedoes were being jammed by German forces. The signals that guided the weapons could be easily intercepted or blocked. That problem stuck with her, even while she was acting on screen. Then one night she had an idea. What if the signal could jump from frequency to frequency, constantly changing, so fast that no one could track or jam it? She approached a friend and neighbor, George Antheil, a composer who knew about synchronized music rolls. Together, they designed a system of frequency hopping, changing radio signals between 88 different channels in perfect sync. They even imagined it working like a player piano, where both transmitter and receiver moved together. They called it frequency hopping spread spectrum, and it was decades ahead of its time. The invention that would build the future. In 1942, Lamarr and Antheil were awarded U.S. patent number 2,292,387. They gave the idea to the Navy for free, hoping it would be used to defeat the Nazis. But the response? Silence. Military officials dismissed the idea. Some said it was too complex. Others couldn't believe a woman, especially a movie star, could invent something like this. They told her she could better serve the war effort by selling war bonds, using her beauty to raise money, not science. And so the invention was shelved, filed away, forgotten. Years later, when engineers began developing wireless communication, they rediscovered Hedy's patent. Her work laid the foundation for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, cellular communication, and even military encryption systems. She had given the world the blueprint for wireless freedom, but no one remembered her name. Fame, isolation, and lost credit. While her invention was changing the world in silence, Hedy's acting career began to fade. She married 6 times, divorced 6 times. She struggled with aging in an industry that only loved her for her looks. By the 1960s and 70s, she had become a recluse, living alone in Florida, forgotten by Hollywood and still unknown to science. But in the 1990s, something changed. Historians and engineers began revisiting her patent. Tech experts realized how revolutionary it was. In 1997, Hedy Lamarr was finally honored by the Electronic Frontier Foundation for her contribution to modern technology. That same year, her co-inventor George Antheil was recognized too, posthumously. When reporters reached out to Hedy, she was surprised. She once said, "The world doesn't give credit to people who are quiet. You have to scream to be heard." And I didn't. Her legacy in the 21st century. Today, Hedy Lamarr is no longer just a beautiful face from the golden age of cinema. She is remembered as a true pioneer of wireless technology. Her face has appeared on postage stamps. Her story is taught in universities, and her name is slowly being restored in history books, not just as a star, but as a scientific visionary. Every time you connect to Wi-Fi, every time you use GPS in your car, every time your Bluetooth headphones pair instantly, you're using technology that came from the mind of Hedy Lamarr, and yet she never earned a penny from it. She once said, "People are unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway." And that's how she lived, with brilliance, grace, and silence. So now when someone asks who invented Wi-Fi, tell them it wasn't just tech companies or engineers. Tell them it started in the mind of a woman who was never taken seriously because she was too beautiful, too glamorous, and too ahead of her time. This is the kind of story Untold History was created to tell. If you believe in forgotten heroes and hidden geniuses, subscribe, share, and join the mission to uncover what the world left behind. Because history isn't always written by the winners. Sometimes it's buried, and it takes all of us to bring it back to the surface.